I haven't practiced it yet. Next time, I promise. I'll be here next time. We'll do harmonies. I've been doing spoken word for a good 7 years. It's really probably the only art form I thrive at. So excuse me if I mess up a lot. Without further ado, I am just going to go into one poem, and then you guys can boo. You can tell me to shut the fuck up, and I'll tell you a little more.
Put that down, Nicole.
This is going to be like the Graf show.
Nobody ever comes back.
Classical conditioning for when he screws up.
All right. In fact, I'm not even going to use the microphone.
Yeah!
Damn!
This is unheard of.
It's open mic!
It is open mic. Actually, we're going to make this. I will. The mic's still open if anyone wants to go on. So,
just start Bullapod.
Oh, you will. Thank you.
I will. Maybe.
Love was our martyr. And all the homeless people that paged through the snowdrifts were freezing cold. And even though love died for them, they're still filled with sin. Sometimes I have to ask myself, would the cross have been better used as wood for kindling? At least that way we would have been warm. I walk through my community over broken cobblestones and sewer grates that dispense this city's hate. Gazing skyward, burn shit from the wire hits the sidewalk squares, a Rorschach splattering stain. And because I see a butterfly like everybody else, explains why Vogue is exhibiting the straitjacket on this month's front page. How fitting. I pass by raggedy storage fronts with the lower half of the mannequin still standing there, proving that even with beautiful legs, you aren't that pretty. You need a heart. You need a heart. I've sat on many bar stools in my day. Amazing legs, pretty fine, about a 9, but I've fallen off one too many. So no one can blame love for dashing out the back way in a hysterical craze one day after giving him his 3-week notice. But I still survive. I walk through the same aisles daily, hiding a smile behind a smirk and a nice designer shirt. I live a life of work, buy a pile of dirt and plant a house in it, past the shanty town limits where the angry crowds pick a hand-me-down image, and be the average bloke, the same person that you know that hates work but has to go to pay for the back he broke, working in the fields with the point of putting poison in the meals when a coin will have them oiling up the wheels. What I do for inspiration, I'll use the mic when I'm not performing. What I do for inspiration is I go on the city bus and I sit next to these crazy people. We all know them. We all have our special name for them. We actually have our personal favorites, and we can share those stories later. I sit there and I do something kind of unheard of. I just sit there and I listen to these people. I listen to my favorite one, my absolute favorite conversation I had. And I don't know where this guy came from. Was it Vietnam, or was he spending 40 years of his life in a basement with his mom living upstairs yelling at him? I don't know, but whatever happened to this guy, he was kind of messed up. But he said brilliant things. I'm sorry, I'll step back. He said brilliant things. He said to me, when we kill the rainforests, because we're going to do that, because we're going to pave Walmart parking lots all across the equator. This is his idea, and I think it's his business strategy, so if anyone wants in on that. But he said, we are going to pave the equator with Walmart parking lots. And when we chop down the rainforest, the trees will still be pushing up daisies. And I paused for a second, and I realized this guy had just said something really awesome, so I whip out this book I carry everywhere. I wrote that down. Just these amazing things. So this, actually, that thing was what came me to or made me start writing these one-liners, these little poetic thoughts that I had as I walked around. And you're intimidating me. You're intimidating me. Yeah.
It's not funny, George.
Okay. I'll get over it. All right, yeah. These little poetic thoughts. I call them poetic one-liners for the kids.
Yeah.
And these I do not have memorized, but they are good. So. If she doesn't like them, she squirts me with water.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's pretty much how it
Even if
goes.
she's like, she's gonna squirt you with water.
I feel like we need some judging system.
It's how I
Just
have
away from the electronics, please.
One squirt means I did okay. 2 squirts means I should leave.
3 squirts
It's a
means
bunch
I
of
think
heat.
you're sexy.
And
Please
4
keep
means
all the
something
water
else.
in the bottle. Okay, I call these Sam Graf. Yeah, that's my name, not the other one. And his abstractions of tremendous girth. All the excitement found in his adventures to find beauty in the horrific pits of syntax. These are of the forever changing constellations of pimples on my forehead. The personified misfits due to the lack of people that give a shit. This will be the last thing I say of any importance, though. After a failed attempt at stand-up comedy, I realized my true talent lay in politics, namely the art of telling jokes that are not funny. The X-ray was having trouble seeing any good in humanity, but though that was because he was looking in all the wrong places. His search was hampered by the fact that any long-term relationship he embarked on ended abruptly in terminal radiation poisoning. The monster that lives under your bed is having a hard time adjusting to the hammock in the room. But he'll survive. The trendy sleeping condition is just a phase. The handle on my coffee mug forms half a heart. The other half an infinite void that I desperately try to fill with caffeine. I guess that's fine. About me being lonely, I guess. I eventually gave up until the lack of love and an even greater lack of sleep bring me back here again tomorrow. The cereal is not content with the amount of 1%. You are slightly empathetic, but are too preoccupied with thoughts of genocide directed at the non-marshmallowy parts of your Lucky Charms to pour in more. The contractual agreement made by those initials in the tree will one day be nullified by divorce papers. But until a loveless marriage terms B heart M. And a big mistake, Ben and Mary might even have some fun. Every night before falling asleep, Johnny pleads with his father to check under the bed for any radical terrorists and to assure him that no housing market will come crashing down out of his closet. Before his father tucks him in and turns off the lights.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Send it
Oh, okay. I just have a couple more, and we'll do more poems. After all these years of inhibiting harmless inanimate objects with the shortcomings of humanity, personification himself got personified as a mental patient and did not like in the least bit how his medicine tasted. Triple pun. The rustle of autumn leaves underfoot created a symphony of so many textures that snap, crackle, and pop looked down pathetically at their bowl of syncopated beats. that one was for the music department. All right. I have a policy when writing poetry. If the problem or the poem is just too big to be swept under the rug, I just sit on it and tell passersby it's furniture, and I go on with my life. All right. I've been writing for a while, and I go through these manic and hungry phases while I'm writing. It's like so I need to stop it. I say poetry is what lost me 40 pounds, because poetry was my thing I went to instead of eating. Poetry was my art, my muse, my everything. So one day I decided to write a little poem or a little thing, and this one means a lot to me. It's short, and I think I'll close with this because I feel like I'm taking up the mic, or not. For all the people who are actually going to be doing music. So since we all agree that music is one of the most profound mediums of art, I'll just close on what art is. Simple. Reality distorted in the curve of a spoon. Unstoppable dreams manifest themselves as footsteps on the surface of the moon. A single drop of red paint stains a canvas like a raped virgin now perverted with self-pity. That was fine. I don't know. Brush strokes turn heavy like the hearts of the refugees that trudge forth from a bombed-out city. This is art. An outlet for my emotions like the church filled with the condemned yelling skyward their devotions. This is art. If you have not come to the conclusion, it's the progressive movement of my imagination. Colors entwine like a rainbow viewed through the haze of intoxication. Its power like a symbol that comes to define a nation. Its embodiment of my fear like the red hood in the wolf's jaw. It's a structured contradiction like anarchist law. This is art. The force that transcends our differences, like the peace offered by a tattered white flag. This is art, removing the constraints which hold the voice of my soul back. Society, freaking acting as a gag. This is art. Please give a big round of applause for everyone who comes after.